Next on the Broadway show, One Crazy Summer, I'm sitting down with Laura Linney and Jessica Hecht, the superstars of the new Broadway play Summer 1976. Plus, it's Camelot minus the magic. Andrew Burnap is on the show to talk about starring in Aaron Sorkin's Camelot. And it's one for the ages. We'll get to know the creative team behind the critically acclaimed Broadway musical Kimberly Akimbo. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is the Broadway show. So glad you could be here for another great episode of the Broadway show. I'm Tamsen Fadal, so let's get started. Tony nominee and Emmy Award winner Laura Linney is back on Broadway alongside Tony nominee Jessica Hecht, starring in Summer 1976. It's the moving and insightful story of an unlikely friendship formed over one fateful summer. I sat down with Laura Linney and Jessica Hecht. Middle of rehearsal right now, but I want to jump into to talk about Summer of 1976 and where you begin to get these characters. We were all there, younger, but we were all there. So where do you go?
It's a really good question, I must say. Your first move is to go to some place that is just sort of intuitive and internal, and then the language starts to tell you a little bit more about how to chart your journey. I feel the way this writing works is on a very, very deep level of our memory of becoming like who we are. They start to talk in this way that seems very grounded in that moment in time.
You know, the period of time and the culture is certainly running underneath all of it. And then it's just fun to think about. You know, it's just fun to make lists of all those songs and the memories of how things smelled back then, the colorful nature of clothing, what clothing was before it all went black in the 80s, you know, which it just did, it all went black. And what culturally was so different then than now. And also then what is exactly the same.
Talk about that. Talk about what is the same, because I think that that's really interesting. All that time that's gone by, all the experiences that we've had, but there are still some threads that are the same.
Well, I think friendship is still the same.
Yeah.
Friendship is friendship. Female friendships are extremely deep and it can really transform you. That's the thing that stays the same.
I feel like female friendships, especially for me, like I hit 50 and all of a sudden those female friendships, and my mother had told me that before she died, they were going to be very important to me someday. I see that now. Do you feel that now in your own lives personally?
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely. You know, they're witnesses to your life. You know, they know the parents who are no longer alive. They know where you've stumbled and where you've done well and how you've changed and how you've improved yourself. Or, you know, it's a witness.
That's a beautiful way
That's
to say
a
it.
really beautiful way to say it. And that also reflects the idea that a great friend doesn't look at you with judgment, that they actually understand. There are moments. There are moments, but then they kind of
Sure, but they know so much of you. They know that you know whatever annoying bad part of you that they may experience is a small part.
Is a small part
and is worth getting to the better part.
Yes.
Okay, some items from 1976 that we missed that we cannot get today.
Love's Baby Soft and
My
Love's
favorite.
Fresh Lemon.
There was a shampoo that God knows what chemicals was in that now, but it was I think it was a Fabergé wheat stalk shampoo, and it had a certain smell to it. It was kind of like light amber color, looked like maple syrup almost. You know, smells that. Really
That was
good.
great. The lip product.
Bonnie Bell lip smackers.
Yeah.
What'd you do today for our family?
Wendy. Do you miss Wendy?
Oh,
I miss Wendy.
Oh, her.
I know you're not Wendy.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
do too.
I miss all those people. That was a tremendous experience. And I loved it. And I loved playing her because she was just such a mess. And you know, there were so many things wrong with her. So I do miss her. And I've also never played anything that long.
Oh,
You know,
really?
I've never.
I didn't
You know,
know
it was 5 years, and I've never been involved with something for such a long period of time.
Want to see more of my interview? Head over to Broadway.com for an extended cut. Parade is back on Broadway, starring Tony Award winner Ben Platt and Michaela Diamond. We hit the red carpet with the stars on opening night. It's a story of a Jewish newlywed who's wrongfully accused and convicted of a heinous crime. the original production of Parade won 2 Tony Awards in 1999. It's another star-studded opening night on Broadway. It's a revival of Bob Fosse's Dancin'. We were there at opening.
Let's go! I'm so excited. I'm so excited that we get to share this show and this work with people. I feel like it's so important to remind people to dance and that we are alive.
Back in 1978, Wayne Cilento got a big break when Bob Fosse featured him in his hit musical Dancin'.
It's kind of like the best thing in the world that could have happened. I can't even explain it. I mean, I think I was numb when I was dancing in it, and I knew it was special. This actually is like full circle, so it's like more exciting. It's the fact that I could pass it on and bring him back in the way that he should be brought back. It's just an honor, and I feel really excited about it.
People think that Fosse is one look. Everyone talks about the Fosse style, and then they do these jazz hands and they hold a bowler hat, right? And when you see the show, it's anything but that. You see moments of that, but that's not the entire repertoire.
They're like, is there a story? I'm like, no, there's no story. It's a celebration of dance and a celebration of Bob's career and everything he's done that some people may not know that is his. And there's so much life and love and joy and also like sex and charisma and like charm.
Yo, come for a good time, stay for the music, and then like let's dance after. It's kind of unlike anything I've ever seen on Broadway, so it's like hard to explain, but come hang out with us.
The best of Broadway is on full display each and every week here on The Broadway Show. Emmy and Oscar winner Aaron Sorkin's got a new show on Broadway this spring. It's his adaptation of the classic Lerner and Loewe musical Camelot, minus the magic wands. Paul Wontorek talked to one of the stars of Camelot, Andrew Burnap.
Andrew,
Hey.
so good to see you.
So good to see you.
Lincoln Center, your new home.
Here we are.
I mean, this is like one of the most beautiful spots in New York City. It's kind of cool to make this like your,
Yeah, it doesn't get any
workplace.
better than this.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're playing the king. You are
that I
King
am.
Arthur in Camelot. And
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a king here since the King of Siam,
I think
the King and I.
you're right. Yeah, I think you're
I
right.
mean, maybe in one of these other theaters there might have been something with a king, but that was a big theatrical king here.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yes. So I have now been dubbed the new king.
It's true. It's true. The crown has made it clear. The climate must be perfect all the years.
How did this come to you?
I didn't really know Camelot that well.
I feel like a lot of people don't really know Camelot, especially
Yeah.
younger people.
Yeah, and so I knew the legend, just sort of tangentially, but when I saw who was attached, I kind of didn't even need to read the new script or anything. I was sort
Meaning
of
Bart Scher, the director.
Bart and
Aaron
Sorkin
that's
and Lincoln Center.
Yeah, Lincoln Center.
I was sort of like, I would be very stupid to say no to this.
This is a really good role, and King Arthur is obviously a very iconic character. You know, there's a lot of mystery around. Wonder what the king is doing tonight. It's like your first song, and, it's all about sort of unstripping this royalty, this character, and we obviously we love this in pop culture too. I mean, just look at the Harry Meghan news, right? I mean, we love to sort of see this. And this musical kind of does that a little bit. Because you see the guy in the beginning, and then you kind of really get to know him.
There's a line in the show where it says, people are entertained by all things royal, which is true.
Wow.
Especially Americans, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of other and away from us across the pond, there's such a fascination with royalty, and this show obviously definitely deals with that.
In short, there's simply not a more congenial spot for happily ever after than here in Camelot.
You know, I was thinking about the guys who played this. Obviously, Richard Burton, originally on Broadway, and then Richard Harris did the film. There was actually a revival of Camelot at one point. Richard Burton did it in this theater.
After the original?
Yes,
Wow.
yeah. And like, obviously, Richard Harris wound up doing it on stage a bunch. So it's interesting. It's like a role these guys like kind of couldn't shake.
I know,
You know, they got really
know.
associated with it, and then they kind of wanted to keep doing it. Do you feel that pull already?
Absolutely. I mean, it's sort of an actor's dream. You get to go from a new king filled with self-doubt and very scared of speaking to women to someone who has no choice but to rule a kingdom. It runs the full gamut, literally, of being a king. So, which is I can totally understand him wanting to do it for your whole life.
Do you remember the first time you ever came here to Lincoln Center?
Okay, you ready for this story?
Yeah.
This was not the first time I came to Lincoln Center, but I was supposed to come and see South Pacific.
Oh, okay.
Which was directed by Farley Cheer.
Yes.
Instead of coming to see South Pacific with my entire family, I faked being sick at home so that I could throw a party at my parents' house in high school. It was a lackluster party. Nothing that I wanted to happen happened, and my parents enjoyed South Pacific. The first time I came to Lincoln Center was to see My Fair Lady. I absolutely loved it, and moreover, loved the space. I had never been inside a theater like that. It's such a giant space, but it's also rarely intimate.
I mean, look at this theater.
I mean,
it's so crazy.
It's
You're
amazing.
like, you're working inside an institution.
It's so amazing, yeah. It's, my birthday was on Sunday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. And I turned, and I sort of stood out here and thought, what would 14-year-old Andrew, who threw that party, say about all of this? And I think he would be on the floor. So I feel truly full of gratitude. I get very teary-eyed when I think of how lucky I am to be doing this, and all of us, and doing it here in particular is like, I don't know, it feels like I'm gonna wake up from a dream sometime soon.
I've listened to so many different people telling me who I should be.
What are you doing? It's different with Lindsay because she's special.
There's a new musical rom-com series on Hulu this spring. It's called Up Here, set in New York City in 1999. It's a story of an ordinary couple falling in love and finding the greatest obstacle to their own happiness might just be themselves.
Try to put me in a box, but baby, I'm a paradox.
The show starring Mae Whitman, Carlos Valdez, and more. We got this exclusive clip. There's a whole lot more to talk about on this edition of The Broadway Show. Coming up, he's seen Hamilton once, but he hears it almost every day. He's stage door Jimmy. You'll meet the longtime doorman at the Richard Rodgers Theater when The Broadway Show returns in just a few.
Hi, I'm Scott Foley, and you're watching The Broadway Show.
Thanks for sticking around. I'm Tamsin Fidel. It takes a whole lot of people to keep a Broadway show running, that's for sure. From the actors on stage to the orchestra, and of course the people behind the scenes whose names you don't see in the playbill. Let's send it out to Perry Sook.
Thanks, Tamsin. While shows may come and go, the theaters and sometimes the people who work inside of them stick around a lot longer. Let's head to the stage door of the Richard Rodgers to meet a staple of Hamilton the Musical, Stage Door Jimmy. All right, I am here with a long-time employee of the now Richard Rodgers Theater, Jimmy Russell. So Jimmy, tell me exactly what you do here.
I'm the doorman at the Richard Rodgers for the last 44 years, 45 years.
That's amazing. I mean, so shows, come and go during that time. Do you have any idea how many shows have been in this theater since you started?
I don't know. I'd say 20 or better, way better. This is one of the longest shows right here.
All right, now, are you a big fan? I'm assuming you've seen Hamilton a couple times?
I've seen it once. I hear it every night. I'm so happy. This is the best job in the world, and I'm very glad to have it. I meet a lot of great people, actors, and I get along with them, like Robin Williams.
Oh, wow.
He was a fabulous, and Alan Rickman was the best to me, anyway. Then Karen Olivo, she says I'm like the guy Red in Shawshank Redemption. Anything you need, I can get you.
I see that you brought us a little something to show. Can you tell us about this picture?
This is when I started. The end of 1978 I started. And this is one of my favorite plays, Best Little House.
It wasn't even the Richard Rogers Theater back then, right?
46th Street Theater.
Just 46th Street Theater,
I
to
forget
the
when-
point.
I forget when it became the Richard Rogers. I really forget.
Well, since you've been here, you've
Since
seen it all.
Oh, yeah,
You've
since
seen
I've
it
been-
all, Jimmy.
And I consider myself the luckiest man in the world, really, for being here on Broadway and being here. I really do.
Welcome back to the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsin Fidel. Let's get back to it. It's one for the ages, the critically acclaimed Broadway musical, Kimberly Akimbo. It's a story of a 16-year-old girl who has a rare and fictional rapid aging disease. Imagine teen angst while living in the body of a 70-year-old woman while also dealing with a dysfunctional family. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Thanks, Tamsin. Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright David Lindsay Abaire teamed up with Tony Award-winning composer Jeanine Tesori to turn his early play, Kimberly Akimbo, into a musical. This hilarious and heartbreaking work is now playing on Broadway. I went to Lindsay Abaire's Brooklyn home to talk to the creators. I saw Kimberly Akimbo when it was off Broadway way back in 2003. What made you two think it should sing?
Well, Jeanine and I worked on Shrek the Musical together, and we had a really great time, but there were a lot of people involved. And I said to Jeanine, I'd love to do this again, but like I write one of my plays, where it's just us by ourselves and we can splash around for as long as we need to. And it was Janine's idea. She said, well, what about one of your old plays? And I said, well, what do you mean? And she pulled Kimberly off the shelf.
Right off that shelf.
Off the shelf over here. She said, I think this one sings. It has a big heart in it, and I think there might be a musical there. And then we started investigating.
Janine, you've worked with playwrights before, of course. How do you find your way into a piece that's already written?
David is an incredible structuralist, and I work from chaos. You should see my kitchen, and David's kitchen is very orderly and neat. So together we have a great structure, and there's places where the lines blur. I think we bring that out in each other.
I like the way you see the world. I like your point of view. A little sly, a little strange, a little bit askew.
Do you find that there are stories that appeal to both of you? Are there any themes that you're finding in common?
Jeanine and I have very similar senses of humor. I grew up working class, and you know, really horrible things happened to my family and friends, and the more horrible they were, the funnier they sometimes were, that we used humor as a coping mechanism. I think that's something we have in common.
Definitely. It's just like a really silly sense of humor, but also incredibly grounded. One of the actors said it's like the tragedy and comedy that live side by side. They're neighbors, and that's what life is so much of the time, how absurd it is and how beautiful it is.
There is plenty of absurdity. Where did you find that, like the eccentricities?
I didn't have to search very far. As a writer, I try to go past the jokes and ask, well, why is it this way? Why do these people deal with things in such a ridiculous, over-the-top way? It's usually grounded in some very deep hurt. That's why I like working with Jeanine. She understands that tightrope that, yeah, it's really funny, but also it's sad at the same time. It's amazing just to watch the audience experience Kimberly in that way, that they're laughing and then tears are coming as they're laughing. And that's just a great gift as a writer to see that happen.
If you two were to tap into your 16-year-old selves, what do you think they would be thinking about this musical?
I mean, I think I would like it for a bunch of reasons, but the main thing is that was my sensibility from when I was 4 years old. That juxtaposition of oh, it's really horrible and really funny and kind of sad. That was always the work that I was drawn to, and so I liked those kind of shows. Those kinds of shows influenced me. Christopher Durang and John Guare and Tina Howe and these brilliant playwrights, I thought, oh, I just want to write like that. I knew from middle school that that's what I wanted to do. So, I mean, it feels like this show is kind of a throwback to those shows that I loved growing up.
Agree. I mean, my three sisters and I grew up in a very, I would call it a very challenging atmosphere. And so our escapes were opening the window and escaping out literally on the roof and jumping to the ground and running away, but also through intense humor. Yeah.
I mean, we really wanted to make this show about a teenage girl that was not dying, a girl that was living and trying desperately to be seen and have a happy family and make connections with people. And never feels sorry for herself. It's sad because the situation is sad, but Kim never feels sad for herself. She just wants to take action while she has time.
You like what you just saw? Well, there's an exclusive extended web version of this interview over at Broadway.com. We'll be right back. And that's going to do it for us. Until next time, I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.